made a threat to my boys today. We're in the old AAU circuit, 11U. We got a AAU tournament in San Antonio. We got to drive up for on Saturday and Sunday. So get ready, BK. That's coming down the pipe.
Good.
The AAU circuit thing is something else. We had a 12-year-old, and he was 12. We went to the birth certificate, if it was his. He was. I am right now. This is you may not be listening to this live, but this is going to be done live right now. I am going to message you the height. I'm going to show you a photo of this guy that walked up on our team that was 12. This is 11U, but you can be 12 if your birthday occurred before the season started. You cannot be 12 if it didn't. I'm going to send you a photo of this gentleman. And this kid, God bless his soul, he walked up and I said, there's just no way. And then you'll see in the jump ball circle, we have a big kid too. But this kid absolutely towers over this young man. Now, we have had some issues where we have had to suspend, we have had to have the kids forfeit.
Just had like 15-year-olds playing.
There was an eighth grader. He had to forfeit. Now I just sent this photo to both of you. Old 12, and our kid's a big guy. This guy just walked out in the 11U championship game a couple of weeks ago. Look at this kid.
Your kid looks like a big kid. Like he's the biggest kid on the team.
Our kid is big. Look at the kid next to him.
He's got an extra 5 inches.
That kid looks like he's taller than I am, probably.
And let me tell you, my son is suffering. My son's got to grab a ladder to get to that kid. I'm not kidding you. I'm kidding you not.
Learning the hard way doesn't always matter in basketball.
My son,
how much you practice.
My son's 4'8". He is like there's no chance. This kid.
I had a very brief experience with AAU basketball. It lasted exactly one tournament. So I was in 7th grade. I was a pretty good basketball player by Blue Springs standards and like the Blue Springs Athletic Association. By those standards, I was pretty decent in 6th and 7th grade.
That rec ball, that rec ball, you're pretty strong. People probably watched you and said, I think I could use him.
Yeah. So a bunch of us that were good in the BSAA decided, you know what? We should try our hand at AAU ball. So
Let's do it, man. Let's put this team together.
So we did. And we thought the team was going to be pretty good. We were the Magic.
The Magic.
And boy, were we horrific. So we entered a tournament in Kansas City proper. And we go down there and man, we're walking in, we're thinking, we got Alex today. We got all the big guns coming out. Like we're going to be a really good team at this tournament.
We got Alex.
We see the other team come in. I'm 5'3". I'm the point guard. We see the other team coming in their layup line. They are dunking. We have 0 kids on the team that were capable of doing that. Dude, we scored, I think, 15 points in the game. They were at like 75. It was the most embarrassed I had ever been in any sporting endeavor. It's a different level when you get to those AAU tournaments, man.
Now, listen, they played well. They finished in 2nd place. But I'm going to send you the photo of my kids, and my son is 23. I'm going to send you the photo of my kids. This is live again right now. If you're listening to this, this is live straight up. I'm going to send you the photo of my kids, and you can see that this is what they were dealing with. Now they lost this game by 6. All right, really shooting themselves in the foot, but they were really struggling. If you would not believe it, to get offensive rebounds. And to get any kind of rebounds in this game, and it was night, anytime he was close to getting it. Now, I'm going to show you our 2nd place squad. Now we do have a kid missing out of there, but my son is well, he's the shortest one. He's the shortest one there. And I just want you to think about that kid that just came running through, and my son is 23 right there. That's it.
The biggest kid on your team is a solid. That's a solid foot larger than your child.
And we have a big kid. He's usually the biggest kid. Now he was a lot more skilled than that kid. I mean, he had.
It's got to be close to 12 inches taller than yours.
And listen, and my dumbass kid, he comes, and they inbound the ball, and he decides to pick him up. I look down there, he's squatted, just fouling the kid. Nobody's calling anything, but he's in there, forearms in the guys, I guess, hamstrings is what he's doing. I mean, it was just ridiculous. But anyway, they got a tournament in San Antonio, and I've threatened them, and I've said, guys, because it's just me and the boys, me and my oldest and my youngest was 5. I said, fellas, if you guys have any issues, now this is my threatening. If you guys have any issues, we will eat at Taco Bell for every meal the entire time that we leave here and drive down there. And I said it, and it does not include Baja Blast. Everything else on the menu is open for business, but we will eat Taco Bell every. And they said, what? I said, try me. Let's see it. Let's see us pull up there and see what you're going to order from Taco Bell.
Honestly, there are some that would not view that as a threat, but would say, sounds great.
Mine, I know mine.
Yeah.
I will not say Chick-fil-A. I will not say McDonald's. I will not say Raising Cane's. But Taco Bell, we got to fight. We got to fight. We got one that will plan to try to challenge you to be in starvation mode, and the other one who would just pitch a fit. And you know what I'll do? I will simply say, please give me a Nacho Bel Grande with extra beef and extra cheese. And I would also like a nacho cheese chalupa. Anything else, boys? Do you want anything? And I said, I promise you, we'll go for breakfast. We'll go for lunch. We'll go for dinner. Every meal, we will go to Taco Bell.
Does Taco Bell still do breakfast? I didn't even know if they did it still.
If they don't, they're screwed.
You guys are going at like 12 a.m. to get your breakfast for the next morning.
Right,
you heat it up in the microwave.
But they got to be thinking, what kind of crazy person is this? This is the threat to Taco Bell. I will soft taco your asses all the way through. Is what I will do. Hey, can I'm gonna throw this out. What do we make of this Travis Kelce stuff? I'm trying to, like, I have no understanding of what my expectations should be for him and this flowing hair that he has. I don't know what I'm supposed to make of it. Last year he had 92 catches for 823 yards. By the way, I know there are certain franchises that would be a top 3 season for tight ends, but I like the Houston Texans only have one tight end season better than those yards. But that was his worst. But now all I hear is Andy Reid says he looks like he's 20. He's like in the best shape of his life. He's lost 25 pounds. He's started being more focused and not participating in concerts and stuff. He's really focused on football. But also what I just heard was this has got to be his last year. I mean, he's done. He's got to be done, and he's slowing down, and it's over. He's 36, father time. I don't know what a realistic expectation is supposed to be for Travis Kelce.
So last year he looked like old Jason Witten, where he would just catch the ball. He's tackled wherever he catches the ball, and that's the end of the play, right? Like Jason Witten for the last 5 years of his NFL career. That's what it was. And it worked. He was an okay football player, but it wasn't anything that was going to be explosive. When Andy Reid used the words felt, I was like, what? Has Andy ever said the words felt in a press conference setting ever once, just one time? I think the answer is no. So the fact that he's going there, the fact that he is being as overly praiseworthy as he has been, it makes me wonder if maybe there's something to this, right? I don't know. I'm trying to caution myself from getting overly excited about it. He does look different, though. He doesn't look the way that he did this time last year. That gets me a little excited.
Does he? Maybe I can't tell. Maybe I need a side by side frame of Travis last. Like I don't know. When I watched him last year. Now, not when I watched him. When I saw him, not when I saw him move, he clearly looked like he had lost a few steps. But when I looked at him, I didn't look at him and think, man, Travis is looking hefty.
Yeah.
Or Travis is like he didn't look abnormal. Now he moved abnormal, but I'm just saying, are we supposed to believe that it's not old age? It wasn't him getting old. This was him not being in enough shape. Like this is a Luka thing. Is that what we're supposed to be thinking? Or
I don't feel that way. I think it is primarily he is getting older, and you can't reverse that. I also think you can do some things to make yourself a little lighter, fleeter of foot, and maybe that's a 5% change. I don't think that gets him to prime Travis Kelce, but can it get him to better than where he was a year ago? That's my hope, Serda.
Yeah. And I think, like that's as you get older, you have to change things. Like your body doesn't heal as fast anymore. It doesn't rebound as quickly. So like I take that as like, he just got with some new trainers or said like, work me up a new off-season program or something to like, up my conditioning and make me slim down a little bit, get a little bit leaner, a little bit faster because I can't move with this weight the same way that I did 5 years ago or whatever. And I think that's great. I don't think that's going to, I don't think we're going to see some dramatic shift from last year to this year where all of a sudden it looks like we've really dialed things back 3 or 4 years. And all of a sudden Kelce's like the game breaker that he used to be. But I think he's just going to be like, what we've seen with some of these like other aging tight ends, and Kelce's age better than almost all of them have, where it's like, I think last year's numbers are perfectly fine, but really what you want to see from him this season is like spurts. Like when they need a big play, can he be a go-to guy for them still? Because especially early in the season, if Rashee Rice is going to be suspended, I think they should really lean on him early in the year while they're trying to develop some of these young guys still and get more out of them and see if he can produce. And then after that, there's going to be like pockets of the season where he has opportunities to like really contribute, but it's not going to be a full 17 game thing for him anymore because you just can't do that at his age at that position. But I still think that he's fully capable of being a significant contributor. To me, it's more just about, hey, when we need it bad, can you go get it for us still? And I'm hoping that's what we see from him this season.
Yeah, I mean, because I think all last year I was like, yeah, I think he's pacing himself, or at least that's what we were telling ourselves. Like he's pacing himself because he kind of did that, and then the playoffs came 2 years ago, and he went off and played well against the Dolphins. He then dominated the Bills. He then dominated Kyle Hamilton one-on-one against the Ravens. And then in the Super Bowl, he was great and had that catch where he got up to like 20 miles an hour in the fourth quarter to get them set up in field goal range to tie the game and send it to overtime. And it was like, well, man, he's just been holding that back. And I'm telling myself this. And then I got triggered into it. Oh, the Pittsburgh game. Here he goes. And the Texans game, like he goes off in that playoff game. But again, like if you then go back and watch it, it wasn't a lot of like moving fast. I think like so. I've been going to the gym and banging out a lot of the either the bike work or really been into the old incline treadmill, and I've been banging out a good 45 minutes on these things, and the way that I'm able to get through it is I have just been watching condensed versions of games for
Oh my
from
gosh.
the last several years. And so like I can get I can
That's sicko stuff.
I can well, no, I'm trying to get through it. Like I'm telling you, I can get 3 good games. I did the whole playoff run. I did I did I did. There's a condensed 15-minute one of the Texans. There's a 15-minute, 17-minute one of the Bills, and then there's the Super Bowl. Like I could run through it and get one workout in. But I'm also doing it from years back, and like they're just he's not gonna be able to I watched the Chargers game a couple of years ago where he
Oh,
just went
dude.
crazy, and
That was
he caught
insane.
he caught a 4-yard crossing route and turned it into 6. And it wasn't like he broke a bunch of tackles. Like he just started running past Derwin James and corners to the end zone, standing up, and he repeatedly then that's when you say, oh, he's not moving like that anymore. No. It does feel like last year, which was the first time, is more times than not, he was able to create separation himself. It seems like he needs help from Andy and Mahomes to create separation. And I wonder, does that maybe move back towards the level of him being able to do it a little bit more on his own? Not all the way over like he has been in his prime, but does it shift a little bit more with his body and his weight now to be able to get himself open at times?
My honest answer is I don't know, man. I wish I could give a better answer than that, but like all of this is guesswork. And I think what he's trying to do, this is just me trying to put myself into his headspace, is what can I do to put myself in the best position to be able to do what I did in 2023, where I was able to play well throughout the regular season. But we all agree, like there were conversations in the 2023 regular season of, hey, is he still the number one? Is it Rashee? Who's the guy that they're kind of operating this offense through? Because right now I feel like it's a fair question to ask, which one is it? And then you got to the playoffs and it was like, oh, okay, yeah, Kelce's still the dude. And the truth was he couldn't do that all regular season. I think it's kind of like what we've seen from LeBron, not at this stage of his career, but 3, 4, 5 years ago, where he couldn't be the same guy every night that he was when he was 25. But when you needed him, when you get into a big spot, you get in game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals, you get into the NBA Finals, like LeBron still had the ability to be one of the best two-way players in the league. Whereas in the regular season, you watched him play defense. It was like, what are you doing? You're not even attempting to try on that side of the ball. So I think there's some of that where I think last year was a grind for Kelce, and he's trying to put himself in position this year for it to be less of a grind and more of a, hey, I'll pace myself, but I'm going to feel good. I'm going to feel better by the time we get into the postseason. I think that's the goal.
And, Gronk's only a year older than him, but obviously Gronk's been retired for several years. But like Gronk had the devastating injuries throughout his career. Like Kelce's avoided all of that stuff. Like he's always taken really good care of himself. He's always played all the games. Like he's always been active and out there. And I think that's why he could still do that. I think it's just going to be in pockets of the season where we see him do that. And Gronk at the end, like with the Bucks, like we saw him in the playoffs come up huge a couple of times for Tom Brady. And I think that's just what this season's going to be for Travis Kelce. And, maybe there is something to Noah Gray or Jared Wiley actually like being healthy and those guys being rotated in more this season.
I do wonder, and you said it earlier, Serda, that maybe they lean on him. I do wonder if more, if this will be the actual time that more teams shift their focus on who they need to stop. I also do believe, and again, like I'm telling you right now, I think I would press the button for what he did last year. Like, if you told me right now
Yeah,
Like, if you
that's
could
a
take
great
one-
tight end season for 95% of the NFL.
I would press that button, and I still believe last year, especially when Rashee Rice went down, I still believe that going into games, he may have been the number one. Now, maybe there was a part where Xavier Worthy became that when he be end of the year where his usage rate went up more. But I still think teams were still operating with in the passing game. We've got to allocate a certain amount of resources to 87. And I wonder if this is actually going to be the first time that shifts.
So are you asking pre or like when Rashee Rice is probably going to be suspended or post his suspension, like when they're at full strength?
I mean, at any point, you think when Rashee's was suspended, the number they're still going to believe Travis Kelce is the number one thing in the passing game they got to stop.
I think it's him and Worthy, and it kind of depends on how your coverage works and who you're trying to stop there. I think you probably try to stop Worthy there, honestly, because the explosive element's just a little different. When Rashee gets back, I don't think it's any question. That dude's your number one target. Like Rashee Rice in 2025 is the number one weapon for the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't think there is any question about it at this point. Given what we saw from him at the beginning of the season last year, all of the reports coming out to training camp are basically this dude looks the same as he did last year during training camp. There appears to be zero concern about the injury. It's all about when's he going to be able to be back on the field. If that dude's out there and he's healthy, he's your number one guy. And I think teams will approach it that way. But while he's out, that's where I think it is a little bit more of a question between he and Worthy. But if I was the opposition, the opposing team's coach, I'm going for Worthy because the explosive element that Kelce just doesn't present at this point.
Yeah. All right. There are a couple of dudes that I think are going to be major pieces. I would argue last year that throughout the year, the two biggest spots that gave this team hell was obviously left tackle, and then especially when Watson was out, whoever else is going to be in coverage. And there were domino effects, right? It forced, them to damn near punt on their second round left tackle they drafted. Wanye Morris, struggled. Then it forced them to have to go and try to sign DJ Humphrey, and that didn't work because he hadn't played in however long. And then it forced them to kick out Joe Tooney to play and put Mike Caliendo on the field. And obviously it just a lot. Then in the secondary, it forced guys, Spags, to probably play his defense differently, forced Shamari Connor to repeatedly have to be in coverage, and teams just easily pick on him. It looks like they have made moves in the offseason to address those, but right now in camp, it has a different feel in both those positions with those guys that they kind of brought in to address those spots.
I need you guys to walk me through this. Can we start at the tackle position? Because Jawan Taylor's out right now. He's on the PUP. They've got Josh Simmons getting every snap at left tackle. They've got Jalen Moore taking every snap at right tackle. I have seen a lot of Chiefs fans getting extremely excited about this. Josh Simmons, wow, they're giving him all of the reps. This clearly shows you a sign that the Chiefs want him to be their week one starting left tackle. I don't know if I feel that way. And that is not to diminish how Josh Simmons has looked or the value of him being healthy at this point in time to even take those reps. Like, I think all of that is great. I just don't know if this matters at all, Ron, because what's the alternative right now? They put Jalen Moore at left tackle. Josh Simmons is the backup there. And they have, I guess, Wanye Morris taking the reps at right tackle. Of course, this is the direction that they're going to go while Jawan Taylor is out right now. I just don't know. I don't know if this matters at all. So I need you guys to walk me through it. As you have seen the reports coming out of camp this week, does this matter to you?
Yeah, because I think it was, thankfully, Josh Simmons is healthy. And the question was always whether or not he's going to be healthy. And the Chiefs after the draft slid in the Jawan Taylor thing. And all offseason, we're like, Nobody's talking about Jawan Taylor. Is he healthy right now? And then he starts camp on the PUP, and it just now all of a sudden this depth that we've spent all offseason talking about, and all the resources they're throwing at the tackle position, the offensive line overall, it's like, oh, well, now you're worried about the depth. That's what I'm mostly concerned about. Like, yes, I have no idea if Josh Simmons is going to be an elite left tackle in the NFL. Hopefully he just looks like that day one, and we're like, damn, what a steal for the Chiefs. He is an anchor offensive lineman for them for a decade. Amazing. They finally got it right. And maybe Jalen Moore gets a long extended period as a starter, and he looks like a legitimate starting right tackle. And then Jawan Taylor will come back, and we'll see what they have in him. Because I still think Jawan Taylor's like been a serviceable player in stretches for the Chiefs, even though everybody likes to knock him all the time. But I just don't want to like be worried about that, because now all of a sudden, if Jawan Taylor's not ready at the start of the season and we're talking about one injury, then we're back to the same offensive line that we had last year. That's what I'm really worried about. I'm not worried about the rookie starting in week one, because at least there's like potential and upside there, and there's going to be a developmental curve there. But it's just like you're one injury away from being in the exact same situation you were all of last season.
Well, hold on. What's the word on the Jawan Taylor injury? Like how?
Nothing really.
The reporting that I have seen, and the Chiefs have been very quiet on this, is that he was quote unquote rehabbing throughout the offseason. And there has been some speculation that he may have had an offseason cleanup on his knee that was giving him issues last year. So what I heard from Nate Taylor earlier today, he had a podcast that he was doing. He said he thinks that Jawan Taylor, if there was a game this Sunday, would be playing. And they're just kind of giving him as a veteran some time to get himself right before he gets into camp.
Okay, I was going to say, I the way you guys were talking there for a second, I hadn't heard that this was going to be something that threatens.
I do think Veach said Taylor had a cleanup procedure like after.
Yeah, I was going to say, but I don't think this was. I had seen anything that made it seem like this was a threat to him playing this season.
No, and really, what I'm talking about here, when I say like, does this matter? I'm talking about the hype for Simmons.
Yeah,
because like if Simmons was starting and Taylor was out there, and it was like Simmons is starting on day one over Jalen Moore at left tackle, and Jalen Moore is working for the twos, I'd be like, holy crap, dude! Like, all right, let's go. This is real. The hype train is off and rolling. Let's see what this thing looks like. I just don't know that I can have that same amount of confidence that they have actually made any decision whatsoever as to what their left tackle situation looks like. I think it is very much in play as of today that when Jawan Taylor returns, whether that's this weekend, next week, 2 weeks from now, whenever that is, I think it's entirely in play. Taylor goes back to right tackle, Moore kicks over to left tackle, and Simmons goes back to being the swing tackle. That's why I'm wondering, like, how much does it matter that he's getting these number one reps right now with Taylor out? It's better than the alternative. It's better than him starting out as like the second guy behind Wanya Morris. I just don't know if I should be contributing towards any of the hype right now. Is all that's really my question.
Andy Reid did say on Thursday they're putting the pads on Sunday. Like, he had refused like a weirdo to confirm when they were going to put the pads on until today, and then he was like, Sunday we're putting the pads on finally. So I mean, I guess it's great practice for Josh Simmons, and we'll see what they think they have in him too. Like, hopefully he looks amazing when the pads come on.
Well, yeah,
and it's not a conversation we have to have again.
I think it obviously matters. I mean, we'd feel a lot different if Wanya was over there. Like, you know, if they felt the need right now to put Wanya over there, and everything that is being reported is not that he's doing all right, that everything looks really, really good, and that this was going to be a top 10 pick if this guy didn't have that injury, and he's moving well. And now, I will say last year, I think for me, and I think a lot of others, this tempers this, right? Because this feels similar to Kingsley. And I think there was probably a piece of them that wanted Kingsley to be the starter, and even thought to themselves, we'll put him in as the starter, and hopefully he'll learn and improve as he goes. But that didn't work. Obviously, Trey Hendrickson ended his tackle career. But I think this does mean something because one, they have him in that space over other tackles that have played that position before. And I don't necessarily believe Moore would just kick on over there. I think that'll be one to watch to see where Moore goes when Taylor comes back. But I said this about Kingsley last year, I'll say this here. Obviously, he is the most talented one. He's the one that you look at and you say he has the ability to be big time. But the great thing about it also is they don't need him to be elite. Like they need him to be, at least right now, serviceable. Like they didn't have serviceable. They need him to be serviceable, and they need whoever over there to be serviceable. And I do think, and we'll see it when the pads come on, but I do think there's already a better and higher feel for him than there was for Kingsley last year and his ability. So that's why, to me, I think it is a good thing and a big idea. And I don't think they will 2 years in a row try to force it like they may have done with Kingsley.
And that's why, like, to me, I think my take on this would be, I think it's being far overblown in terms of how big of a storyline this is in the early portion of camp. I don't think the Chiefs have actually told you much of anything other than Josh Simmons is above Wanye Morris on the depth chart right now. But we all knew that. Nobody's surprised to learn that. And I don't think they have told you anything about how they view him versus Jalen Moore yet. And that's not a decision they have to make until Jawan Taylor comes back. So my hype on Josh Simmons is very high. I think that guy has a chance to be an absolute stud at left tackle. But if we're talking about who is going to be the week 1 left tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs, I have no more confidence on that answer today than I did this time last week. And we have seen a few practices now. And that's because we don't know how Jawan Taylor fits into this mix and what that means for Moore. You said the most important word there, Ron, is stability at left tackle. And it is entirely possible they still believe Jalen Moore gives them that stability at left tackle early in the season, and that it'll be a situation where, kind of like they've done in the past, the rookie has to earn it, and we're going to go with the veteran early on in the season. So I still think Simmons could start. I just don't know right now, and I think because Jawan Taylor is off, or he's off to the side, it kind of throws a wrench into all of the hype that I was hoping we would be able to get early on in this camp.
I'm intrigued, though. What I'm glad to have seen on the other side is, all right, I want to see Christian Fulton in. I think he is one of the sneaky moves of the offseason, especially for the Chiefs. This is one that people don't talk about very much, but what Christian Fulton potentially allows them to do. Now, he hasn't started practicing yet. And now what really concerns me is this, what feels to be a delusional love affair that Steve Spagnuolo has for Shamari Connor and his ability to cover people, because immediately, all right, Christian Fulton's out. Here we go. Shamari, you're up. And there's got to be multiple people in front of him. It just keeps putting him in a situation. And I'm actually kind of glad to see, all right, well, what's the option now? And now it's like he's seeing something that we don't see with Shamari Connor. And he's getting beat like a drum by people out here, and everybody knows it. But they can't afford injuries back there, but also they can't afford injuries back there because, one, it will force Steve Spagnuolo to do things that he just wants to do, which is, I know Shamari can work. And what makes me nervous is now I think he's going to find ways to get him out there on the field regardless of anybody being injured or not, and in coverage. It's just the wildest damnedest thing to me.
So today, the rotation was McDuffie and Watson on the outside, Connor in the slot with Noel Williams and Johnson outside in the second team, with Roland Wallace as the slot with the second team. That is according to Pete Sweeney. Dude, I can't do this again. We cannot possibly do this again. They have to change this. They cannot allow Steve Spagnuolo to go about it. The only thing that is giving me
Who's going to tell him to stop, Brandon? Who's going to tell him?
Honestly, Trent McDuffie. Trent McDuffie has to say, you can't do this any longer. I'm a slot corner. I'm really good at it. I'm the best one in the NFL at this. I'm not as good on the outside. I'm a really good outside corner.
Trent's trying to get paid, though.
Dude, I am the best slot corner in the NFL. I've got to play the slot. Stop doing this. But anyways, Ron, the one thing that is giving me a little bit of calm, there's not a lot of it, but a little bit, is this. You were there. I was there. Serda was there. We watched Herb Miller get early playing time for the Kansas City Chiefs. He was with the ones. And guess how much that meant by the time we got to week 1? Hell, by the time we got to week 3 of training camp, nothing. It meant nothing. These early camp practices for Steve Spagnuolo, they're literally just like going through the motions. So the one thing that brings me a little bit of hope is, hey, Shamari Connor, you know the playbook. You've been in the slot before. Just go out there and be in the right positions. And then whenever we get Christian Fulton back, we'll go back to the way that we're supposed to be operating here. God, Ron, I hope that's what's happening right now. It's the only thing I can believe in.
If by next Friday we've had a full week of padded practice and Shamari Connor is still rotating out there, I'm going to be like, okay, yeah, it's a problem. Like he's doing it again. Because I don't even think, and BK's right, and this is the same thing with like what he was saying with the tackle rotation right now. Before the pads come on, I try to remind people of this every year. We always overreact because we're so starved for football and we're so excited and and the potential of these young players, and it's a new season, it's a reset, and Chiefs are Super Bowl contenders again, and they can try to get back there, and we're all really excited for football. But the Chiefs do this every year at the start of camp. There's just ridiculous rotations. Teams do it all across the NFL because they can without the pads on, because they're just doing it. It's not to like even confuse anybody. They're just doing it for the hell of it at the start of camp. And then as the pads come on, as things get more physical, we start getting more serious about things. And that's when we can actually like read into the rotations that they're deploying on a daily basis. And so I think Shamari Connor can be a serviceable player. I don't think he is a serviceable player as a slot cornerback. Like I think he's got some ability. I think he can contribute to the defense, but not in that role. And so like, I'm just hoping that the Christian Fulton injury is not all that serious either, because I think Christian Fulton is a good player, but that's been his issue throughout his career, is that he's had a lot of injuries. And so I'm hoping he's fine and he'll get back and be fine. And then we'll see what the real cornerback rotation is. Maybe they actually do have something in Noah Williams too, as a rookie. We'll find out down the line probably. But he just can't be their week 1 starting slot corner. He just can't do it. He's just not. It's not what he's good at. It's not his game.
Ron, you know what he is? You remember back in the day, the Chiefs, this is like 5 years ago now, the Chiefs had a guy, I think he was number 49. His name was Daniel Sorensen. You called him Dirty Dan back in the day. And when he played safety, like deep safety, it was a problem. Nobody wanted that. But when that guy would come in very specific situations and would like be that dime linebacker, it's a perfect role for Dan Sorensen. They need to use Shamari Connor in that role. He is a bit piece. He is not a starting every down slot corner in the NFL. Serda is completely right. You've got a look on your face that I don't like it, because we're trying to talk ourselves through this, and what's actually going to happen, and they're going to play him as the slot corner. It's going to drive me crazy.
To all of and I'm glad you guys poured your hearts out there, is UBK are saying using the Herb Miller example, and sort of trying to travel with you as well on this. Yeah, I'll give it a week, and if he comes back in and it looks that way, and they do this, a lot of teams do this without pads and switch up their rotations because they can. In honor of the late Malcolm Jamal Warner, who also is known as Theo Huxtable, there was a famous scene where he poured his heart out, just like you two did right here, and talked about to his father, Heathcliff, and said, well, maybe I'm not as smart as you guys, and maybe I'm not this, and you should just let me be me. and me study on my way and not the way you do. Just like the way you guys poured your hearts out. And I would like to respond the way his father responded to him. BK and Serda, that was the dumbest thing I have ever heard. Because like I know, Herb Miller doesn't have a history of being a starting slot for Steve Spagnuolo like Shamari Connor has for the last 2 years.
It's a little bit of a plot hole. I'm not gonna lie.
Miller, you can talk about your little mix and matches of rotation.
Really, it was just last year. Like,
he didn't have his ass on the field the year before.
I mean, he rotated in. Like,
he didn't have his ass on the field.
He wasn't
the year
straight
before.
up starting all the time like he was last year.
He had his ass on the field the last 2 years. Herb wasn't a thought after week 3 in training camp. Shamari Connor's been a thought for 36 weeks, and he keeps running him out there. So there's a little bit of a contrast. The one problem is Steve in regular seasons and playoff games, in the most important games, keeps running him out there at those positions. So it is hard to make that comparison because Steve believes something that we don't see and what he doesn't see with his own eyes. So yes, it is a problem. And it's probably not going to be a thing of just, they're mixing and matching. You know what they're going to have to do? Andy and Brett and Clark are going to have to cut his ass because what I'm just saying, they're going to have to cut him, or Steve is going to keep using him in those spots. Okay? I don't know what happened with Dan. He kept trying to use Dan in the deep safety. They had to bring in Tyrann Mathieu for him to stop doing that. They had to force his hand with an all-pro safety, who, by the way, just retired, and I believe he's a Hall of Famer, right? That's Tyrann Mathieu, Hall of Famer, right? 4-time All-Pro, top 3 Defensive Player of the Year, award winner, champion. He's a Hall of Famer, right?
I think probably no. I think he's on the outside looking in, but his resume, like, their games are obviously different. His resume is very similar to John Lynch's resume, and if you're going to go by that, I could see how you would. Just saying,
4-time All-Pro, 3 straight years first team All-Pro, all-decade team. Usually that is anyway. But like I know what you're saying. I'll be honest. I'm gonna be nervous because it is going to take injury or him not being on the team for Steve to not use him in the way that we fear.
He's Dan Sorensen. I just realized it. Like my complaint about Dan Sorensen, he is the reincarnation of what Dan Sorensen was. It's a different position, but it's the same complaints that we had about Dan that he can't cover. That is the same thing that we're talking about here.
He'll pull
every clip I've seen of like somebody making a great grab or like cooking a defender or something. I'm like, 27. It's 27 again.
Steve, he will pull Cook off the field to keep Shamari on. There is a belief.
I hope so. I think he's a better safety. Like,
there's a belief, but he'll have his ass in coverage. There is a belief.
Hey, if Christian Fulton stays healthy, we're fine. Yeah, that's all we need. Christian Fulton, get yourself healthy. I hope you're feeling great. I hope you get back to the field very soon. I don't really care how much of training camp that you participate in, as long as you are good by week 1. I'm good with that, brother. Like, just get out there. Week 1, we need Christian Fulton on the field for the Chiefs, because this cornerback room, if this is showing us anything, it is light, man. Like, it's basically 3 guys deep that we have any level of confidence in. Beyond that, there's a whole lot of unknowns. I hope Noel Williams is good, because other than that, they clearly do not trust, by the way, Joshua Williams. Like, that guy, it's over. I'm not even sure he's making the team at this point.
It's just insane. I mean, I don't know. It's just absolutely insane. Guys just have to accept it. You know what? I did want to touch something you brought up earlier. You were saying, you're talking about Rashee Rice being the clear-cut number 1 receiver whenever he comes back. He's going to be the clear-cut top pass catcher for this team. Well, we talked about it last week. We don't know how many games he's going to be suspended. I would imagine anywhere ranging from, I would say, 2 at the very, very low end to 6 to 8 at the very, very high end. And there are some big games that he could potentially miss. Who is it? Is it as easy as just Xavier Worthy? Who is it that steps into that space, or most likely to step in that space as being the guy who takes over as at least the number one pass catcher?
Okay, as the number one pass catcher, I think it's Xavier Worthy. But I was going to take this a different path, Ron. Who's the guy that gets playing time because Rashee Rice is out? Like, who's the guy that ends up seeing the field while he's out that otherwise would not be a part of the rotation? And this is your favorite thing about training camp, I'm pretty sure. And by that, I mean you hate it every time that we do it, which is talking about guys that probably won't end up making the roster or will not factor into 95% of the season, but are getting hyped up in training camp. You want to talk about the latest options for you, Ron? Hey, last year we were right. We said Nico Remigio was the guy.
Well, yeah, it took you how many weeks for him to get right? And was he his receiving yards? I mean, were fantastic. Yeah, that's what it was.
Did he factor into the season? He sure did. You can't tell the story of the 2024 Chiefs without Nico Remigio, baby.
Did he come up big down the stretch? Did he have a role?
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about. All right, I've got 3 nominees for you. You ready for this, Ron? 3 of them. All right, 1, Jalen Royals, fourth round pick. People are excited about him. Like, he's probably going to be the actual answer. That's the number 1 option. The other 2 that I can go ahead and try to sell you on. 1, Tyquan Thornton, former top 75 pick in the NFL draft. He is very fast. He is very skinny. He is very tall, and he can play the X receiver spot. All right.
He also gave Shamari Connor that work as well in one of those highlights Serda was talking about.
The other one, and this is classic training camp, get excited about this player, fodder. Have you seen the buzz that is starting to build for Jason Brownlee, the former Southern Miss wide receiver that had some moments on the Jets Hard Knocks when they were on there?
I thought you were about to go Jake Briningstool or whatever his name is.
Yeah, he's also getting some buzz out there as well.
I have not heard him. I am more inclined to believe that this is Sky Moore's time.
No, stop.
Bradley did get a lot of buzz there was a couple years there.
This is Sky Moore's time. This is his time for redemption. He's caught a touchdown in the Super Bowl. This is his time. That's where I'm leaning. I understand. I'm leaning Sky Moore. This is where I'm leaning.
In all seriousness, who do you think it's going to be? Is it Royals, Thornton, Brownlee, Elijah Badger? Is it? I mean, Serda brought up another one. He's technically a tight end, but are you going with Jake Briningstool?
First off, I don't want you all to leave out Jimmy Holiday. That's another guy that you might want to look at. But if you're going to not allow me to go with Sky Moore, I mean, I definitely think
it's not Sky Moore. Stop it.
I'm not going to stop it. It is his time. No, I'm not going to allow not you two to come through here and
we've moved on.
Yeah, we've done everything we can to apologize for it.
Yeah, no, I don't need you to apologize. I think
we ate it up for 2 years.
I think it's pretty spineless that you guys would just quit and give up. I believe there is a role now for him, and he is going to fill it. I got Sky Moore.
You don't believe that.
You're lying. Say somebody that nobody mentioned. Juju.
Oh, Juju's fine. Juju's in. Shoot,
Juju's starting week 1. I think Juju is going to have a bigger role early in the season than anybody expects because everybody's like, Jalen Royals. And
Juju always has a bigger role than I've ever expected, and it always happens. All I know is this is for me. I don't give a damn who it is. All right, I think it's Royals. Are we finally going to see the return of the big play? Is that like we keep hearing about the deep ball? We keep hearing about it. I'm seeing Mahomes throw it. Is this going to be the return of it? Because let me get I'm not a stat person, but I think I just did get my eyes my eyes checked today. So they
Oh,
had.
Ron, you're joining the club. Ron's getting into the analytics community. Here we go.
Let me
What
go.
do you got?
They had 68 explosive plays. And when I say explosive plays, that's 15 plays, 15 yards or more. They were 28th in the NFL when it came to that. All right. I think Baltimore was 1, and they were in the 70s with explosive plays. They were 27th in passing plays of 20 yards or more. To hell with running plays. They were 27th with Patrick Mahomes and Xavier Worthy on the team together, and Travis Kelce with 20 yards or more. Is this going to be the return? That's my thing. And I know Rashee is going to be out for a certain amount of time, but this is like I have almost just quit it. I've almost just given up. But I'm sick and tired of it because it is so important that they don't have to be so fine and perfect to score points or to have drives, and nothing comes easy. And they're like the basketball team that has to play in half court the entire time. They're good at it, but they have to play in half court the entire time. Yes, I know the Chiefs are the best team in the league and getting this 3rd and 3. But damn it, can we just get a couple of, didn't get to 3rd down because they got a big play. And I just look at the parts that they have on this team. I get it. There were injuries. All right. But it really, let's just be honest, this has been a problem for a couple of years now. I get it. There is injuries. But damn it, they've got Xavier Worthy. They'll have Rashee Rice at some point. They have Hollywood Brown. All right, they've got Royals is a guy that has the ability, right? They've got guys that should be able vertically and sideways in any manner of the field be able to make big plays. This just has to stop. 68 plays of 15 yards or more. You got to be kidding me.
I'll continue along with that. Average intended air yards. In other words, how far down the field does Mahomes throw the football? Last year, 6.3 yards. That was 41st in the NFL. Run 41st. There are only 32
damn teams.
In 2023, he was at 6.6 yards per attempt. 40th in the league. Before that, 27th, 32nd, 14th, 13th, and 5th in 2018 in his first year as a starter. This has been a consistent decline over the Patrick Mahomes career in Kansas City. You look at it last year, he just wasn't even attempting throws deep. He had 54 attempts of 20 or more yards down the field. The year before, in an offense that wasn't exactly known for its like high power down the field capacity, he had 76 attempts. Again, last year, 54, that was down from 76. They have got to get back to this. That's basically one extra attempt per game, Ron. And you think about that. If he completes half of them over the course of the full season, you're talking about another 8 to 10 explosive plays. Dude, that matters. With how thin the margin for error was for the Chiefs last year, think about that. That's Absolutely. An extra big first down. That's a potential extra touchdown at any point in the game. They've got to get back to it. To answer your question, can they do it this year? Yes, 2 reasons. 1, Xavier Worthy hopefully is a year more comfortable in the offense. Hollywood Brown should help with that as well. 2, Josh Simmons. If this offensive line is better than it was a year ago, it should make Mahomes more comfortable, which should allow him to have the time to make those throws deep down the field. I think that was a bigger part of the story a year ago than sometimes we give it credit for. Even when he did have good protection, I don't think he was ever fully trusting that he would have the time to make those throws down the field the way that he was in the Super Bowl when he asked for Wasp and said, do I have time for this? I don't think he would have anticipated he would have had time a year ago.
Yeah, I think that's what it was all about. I think he just never felt comfortable last year, and it threw off his timing. So, like, even when Worthy was winning deep and Mahomes was actually taking shots here and there, they were never accurate and they were off. And that's been a theme over the last couple of years because the protection hasn't been good. And it's like, if you just get him comfortable and give him time to work and let the things develop downfield, like, I think we're going to see some of those hit this season. Like, we got that small glimpse of it in the Super Bowl where they're finally just like, F it, and you're getting blown out in a Super Bowl. So they're just slinging it down the field. And so he finally connects on a couple of them. Like, I have to imagine those are going to hit with Worthy and Hollywood Brown. And, and I just think, the Rashee Rice suspension, I think, is going to be huge because I just think he does so much over the middle of the field and would open up so many things for them downfield. Like, I do wonder if it's going to take some time for us to actually like see a version of this offense that can air it out the way they truly can once Rice is suspended. But I saw Worthy win deep downfield over and over again last year. Like, I think he can absolutely do that consistently. They just have to find a way to get Mahomes protection so he actually hits those this season.
I think over the last couple of years, it's not just been on one thing. Like, I think there's some valid points. Like, I think the offensive line issues is a valid point. Hell, I don't even know. There are probably moments to even call it or to even let it develop at times because you got to get the ball out. But also, the receivers ends the last couple of years, but also he's had clean pockets and they're just absolutely either airmailed guys or he'll thrown the ball out of bounds, like or something just been inaccurate. It's been all of it. Something just hasn't been working or coming together, and it is there. And the thing is, again, Mahomes has never had Rofe, Wigman, Shields, Waters, he ain't never had those lines. They ain't never been just fabulous. They've been some. He's had to maneuver and stuff. It is just like that is just open. That will just open up so much, man. It's just so like it is pulling teeth. It is so hard for them, and I think it just takes away the fear factor. Again, like I said, I've done the deal of watching these old games, and it's just like, damn, like boom, 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 boom. And it's just not even there. And I'm not even talking about just go routes, like the deep crossers.
Dude, that's the thing that's disappeared. That's the biggest thing that's noticeable in this offense is those deep crossers that used to be there. It used to be the Tyreek Hill special, right? He's going deep across the middle, the under routes, over routes. That was what they killed the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with a few years ago, where it was just constant daggers across the middle. And they
would get McCole on it. I'm watching, like I said, I'm watching old games. Byron Pringle is just busting across repeatedly.
Remember McCole? I think McCole had a couple of those against the Ravens whenever he had that big game early on in the season a few years ago. Like they've had guys that aren't exactly elite level wide receivers. Demarcus Robinson has been a guy that's had some success on these. Yeah. They can do it. They've just got to get back to it. And some of this, you're right, Ron, is on Mahomes. He's got to get back to being comfortable with the potential of making a mistake. I think part of what's happened here is he has become so cognizant of, hey, if we make a mistake, we've got big problems here. They've just got to let it fly at times this year. Just go out there, and if you make some mistakes early on in the season, so be it. But you can't allow that to make you scared of making those mistakes because it's worth it over the course of the year.
It is. Yeah. I just hope to see it. That's it. And I'm not holding my breath with it. I've damn near given up on it. It's ridiculous. It really is. We are out.